Modding has been around for decades, changing the way we play games, shaping entire communities, and sometimes even influencing the gaming industry itself. But how did it all begin, and where's it heading? In this deep dive, we'll explore the fascinating history of video game modding, from its humble beginnings to modern day impacts on the gaming industry. The world of modding isn't just about tweaking a few files to make games run smoother or adding cosmetic skins. It's been a driving force behind some of the gaming industry's most revolutionary moments, whether turning existing games into an entirely new experience, fixing flawed mechanics, or introducing experimental concepts that developers never envisioned. Modding has proven time and time again that the industry thrives when a community takes charge of their favourite games. The origins of modding stretch back further than most people realise. Before the era of graphical gaming, early programmers and hobbyists were modifying text-based adventure games, inserting their own dialogue, altering progression paths, and tweaking balance mechanics. Even before official support for modding, players found ways to hack and adjust code, demonstrating a desire to reshape and personalise digital experiences. One of the first significant milestones in modding history was LoadRunner in 1983, which introduced a built-in level editor, enabling players to design and share custom-created puzzles. This simple feature paved the way for what would later become the concept of user-generated content, showcasing the potential of player-driven creativity. However, it wasn't until Doom in 1993 that modding truly exploded into a mainstream gaming culture. id Software took a bold step by structuring Doom's WAD file in such a way that it allowed players to create custom levels, enemy behaviours, and entirely new game modes. The longevity of Doom was no longer dictated by the developers, but by the passion of the player community. During the early days of modding, before centralised modding websites, sharing modifications was an arduous process. Bulletin board systems, or BBS, became crucial hubs where modders could distribute their work, troubleshoot issues, and collaborate with like-minded creators. These were the grassroots communities that laid the foundation for what would later become sites like Nexus Mods and ModDB. As gaming and technology advanced, modders began moving beyond simple tweaks and into total conversions, where entire games were redefined. While early mods focused on modifying weapons, adjusting difficulty, or altering textures, total conversion projects sought to transform existing games into something entirely new. Quake in 1996 provided one of the first engines designed for deep customization, opening the doors for ambitious modding projects like Quake Rally, which replaced the shooter's mechanics with racing gameplay. The true turning point arrived with a game I'm pretty sure we all know, Half-Life in 1998, created by Valve. This provided extensive tools that empowered modders to develop entirely new games within the Half-Life engine, leading to the creation of Counter-Strike, the game that arguably kick-started the modern esports culture. Counter-Strike's evolution demonstrated that a community-driven project could rival and even surpass AAA releases, and statements like that are becoming more and more true in 2025. Originally a multiplayer mod, it grew into a standalone title that reshaped the way first-person shooters were designed and played. Similarly, Team Fortress Classic started as a mod before inspiring Team Fortress 2. Proving that modding wasn't just about experimentation, it was now a legitimate entryway into the industry. Other groundbreaking total conversions also emerged, such as Black Mesa, which was a complete remake of Half-Life developed entirely by fans at Nerine. At Fate's engine, which transformed Oblivion into an entirely new RPG experience with fresh mechanics and world building, these projects started to blur the lines between hobbyist creations and professional grade titles, reinforcing the value of modding as a legitimate art form. For years, modding existed in niche communities, thriving on forums and dedicated websites, but remained largely ignored by game studios. That all changed when developers realised that modding could dramatically extend the lifespan of their games and enhance community engagement. Bethesda was at the forefront of this movement, recognising the importance of supporting modders in their flagship titles. The Elder Scrolls 3 Morrowind in 2002 introduced modding tools that enables players to craft new lands, quests, mechanics and custom expansions. The support grew exponentially with Oblivion in 2006, which attracted a massive modding audience with streamlined tools. Then came Skyrim in 2011, the undisputed king of modded games. The creation kit allowed for virtually limitless modifications, transforming Skyrim into a continually evolving sandbox driven by the creativity of its fans. With platforms like Steam Workshops making mod installation effortless, modding reached a wider audience than ever before. Nexus Mods became the central hub for Bethesda titles, housing hundreds of thousands of unique modifications, while ModDB expanded into one of the largest mod libraries across multiple genres. Nexus also now falls into that category. Modding's growing popularity led to contrasting responses from the industry. Some developers embraced modding as a cornerstone of their design philosophy, while others attempt to monetize or restrict it. Bethesda's Creation Club sparked controversy by introducing paid mods, raising debates over whether the community-driven content should remain free or be controlled by others. Meanwhile, indie games thrived thanks to modding communities. Titles like Stardew Valley saw extensive modding support, with mechanics improved far beyond the developer's original design. Overall, mods kept older games alive, such as Fallout New Vegas, which saw huge fan-driven updates, enhancing everything from graphics to questlines. Modding has profoundly shaped the gaming industry, influencing game design, community engagement, and even entire games like we mentioned earlier. Many of today's popular gaming trends originated as mods before evolving into fully fledged titles. The Battle Royale craze, for example, traces back to mods for Arma 2, while the MOBA genre was born from the Defense of the Ancients Dota in Warcraft 3, later inspiring things like League of Legends and Dota 2. These innovations prove that player creativity can drive the industry forward, often in ways developers never anticipated. Beyond innovation, modding also plays a crucial role in game preservation. Titles like Morrowind, Fallout New Vegas, and Half-Life 2 still remain relevant decades later thanks to things like visual upgrades, bug fixes, and massive community expansions. Some mods even repair broken games, such as the unofficial Skyrim patch, which addressed countless bugs overlooked by Bethesda. Without modding, many of these classic games may have faded into obscurity. Modding has come a long way since the days of swapping textures and tweaking difficulty settings. As technology advances, the future of modding does look brighter than ever before, with emerging trends promising even greater accessibility, creativity, and industry influence. While modding has always thrived on community ingenuity, the next wave of tools and platforms will push the boundaries of what is possible. AI is set to revolutionise modding, making it easier for both newcomers and veteran creators to modify games in profound ways. AI-assisted tools can generate textures, animation, and even full levels, dramatically reducing development time and allowing more people to participate in game modding without requiring extensive technical knowledge. Modding communities are already experimenting with AI-generated assets, and as these technologies improve, modding could become as simple as giving an AI a prompt and watching it generate content on the fly. This opens the doors for those who may have previously struggled with coding or game design but can still possess creative visions that they would love to bring to life. Another exciting frontier is the rise of procedural modding, where game modification can use procedural generation to create dynamic, limitless experiences. Imagine a mod for Skyrim that doesn't just add new locations but instead generates an entirely new landscape every time you play, offering unique adventures without needing extensive manual development. Tools like Unreal 5 and Unity are providing modders with more advanced and intuitive resources than ever before, allowing for smoother workflows and even photorealistic design possibilities. Meanwhile, the lines between modding and indie game development continue to blur. Historically, modders have created projects that eventually become full-fledged commercial games, such as Counter-Strike, DayZ, or Dota 2. With industry recognition of modding talent steadily growing, we may see more studios embracing community-created expansions and content as a legitimate part of their development strategy. Some companies are even partnering with modders to create officially endorsed mods, demonstrating the increasing value of modding with professional game development. Despite these exciting developments, of course challenges remain. Mod monetization and corporate restrictions pose threats to the free nature of modding. The controversy surrounding paid mods suggests that companies may attempt to control the ecosystem, potentially limit accessibility for those who do want to create content without any financial barriers. The community must remain vigilant, ensuring that modding stays open and collaborative as possible, rather than becoming yet another corporate-controlled revenue stream. Modding isn't just a technical skill, it's a gateway to creativity, problem solving and innovation. It empowers players to reshape their own gaming experiences, proving that games don't just have to be fixed in their original design. At its core, modding is freedom. The freedom to experiment, create and challenge industry norms. For those with a passion for gaming development, modding is the perfect entry point. Many successful developers started as modders, learning the fundamentals of programming, level design and storytelling by modifying existing games. Unlike traditional development, modding allows for an immediate experimentation where creators can tweak mechanics and see the results instantly, fostering a hands-on approach to gaming creation. Beyond personal development, modding is also about community and collaboration. It brings together people with shared interests where ideas evolve through shared feedback and teamwork. Whether you're building new maps, crafting lore expansions, refining game mechanics, whatever it may be, every contribution adds something meaningful to a game's legacy, even the weird mods. Most importantly, modding allows us to keep these games alive. That is more and more relevant in today's world. Many beloved titles remain playable for years, sometimes even decades, because modders continue fixing, enhancing and evolving them long after official support ends. Games like Fallout New Vegas, Morrowind and Deus Ex remain culturally relevant, not just because of corporate backing, but because their communities refuse to let them fade into obscurity. Through modding, players can ensure that a game is never just a consumer-driven experience, but an interactive and evolving form of art. For anyone hesitant to take the plunge, remember this: every great modder started out not knowing anything about coding, level design or asset creation. The beauty of modding is that you learn as you go, and in doing so, you unlock an entirely new world of possibilities.